Hey, hard to see because of the sunlight. I'm definitely at the beach again, guys. Yeah, really here. That's why you can't hear the ocean. Or my hair isn't blowing in the wind. Definitely at Well, what can I say? I wish I was at the beach. But I can't have anything nice. Can't even have my windows work in my own apartment. It sucks. I had to have maintenance come over and fix the windows. Because I sure as hell don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's one of those windows that you have to like roll open and roll close. So they're they keep like you can open them, but then you can't close them. So that's fun. Yeah, like I really want to keep my windows open in this fucking neighborhood. In this economy? Think I can pay maintenance guys in this economy? In my condo? All right, enough shenanigans. Where are we? I have another beverage. So I was ready to throw this brand to the rocks so that they could actually be on the rocks. Because I had what did I have? I had an old fashioned made by this brand. And it was really not good. It was really quite bad. But you know, old fashions are not... They can be made a lot of different ways, and they're not easy to make, and I don't think they work well in a bottle form. However, this is a margarita, as we called it back on the ranch. A margarita, you'd have it with a quesadilla. So I mean, how could you? It's kind of hard to fuck up a margarita. So let's see. First sample, shall we? Shall we get a little whiff of it? I'm disgusted, but curious. Interesting. It's almost got a little bit of a spice to it, like almost a little mezcal. I mean, mezcal is I guess more smoky, but yeah, there's like a little bit of another. Yeah, there's almost like a harsh, spicy burn after it. It's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Okay, you're not here to watch me get shit-faced. You're here... I don't even know why you're here. I don't even like hearing my own voice. But thank you for being here, everyone. So I have to be a little bit cautious because the TikTok fascists are out in force, trying to get me banned again. But we're getting more and more details about the Pete Hegseth group chat. So, of course, this is the typical authoritarian fascist playbook. They're what they do, right? They lie. They lie about their lie. They double down on the lie. And then they switch tacks, say it's not a big deal. And then they say, oh, but other people do it. And that's kind of where we're at right now with Attorney General Pam Bondi the other day saying, you know, she was asked if there were going to be criminal charges over this leaking of top secret information. So rather than just answer the question, you know, based on the facts and the law, she spins it around and says, well, if you want to talk about it, just let's talk about Hillary's emails. But her emails, my God. It's such a stupid talking point. And if only, to be fair, if only Hillary had not done that, which anybody in a sane form of mind could have seen that that was a stupid thing to do, and she shouldn't have done it. That said, it's a big fucking nothing burger. It was from the get-go. It always has been. It amounted to nothing. There was absolutely zero credible proof that there was any compromise of the server. But now, here they are texting literal classified information and then adding a reporter to get the details on that classified information. So, of course, Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Walls, is it Tom Walls or Tim? Yeah, no, hold on. The National Security Advisor? Something, Waltz, Tom Waltz, isn't that his name? And then, of course, Pete Hegseth, you know, drunk man himself. They all, in my opinion, TikTok, don't ban me. This is my opinion. Free speech. We love free speech, don't we? TikTok. TikTok only has the best free speech. I support it. Many people tell me that TikTok is the place where if you want to say something outrageous, you can say it like the earth is flat, moon landing is fake. Oh shit, I probably actually shouldn't say that because they might actually flag my account. So, but no, the facts of the matter, in my opinion, they gave testimony to Congress and they lied. They perjured themselves under oath. I mean, it's pretty friggin' clear. You look at what they were asked, what they said, and then what was actually in the text with all the classified information that put American soldiers at risk. Yeah, they perjured themselves. I mean, there's not really a lot of gray area there. It's pretty much a gray, or excuse me, there's not really a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. It's pretty blatant. They were asked very specifically, like, were there weapons talks in the chat? Was there talk about timing? Was there talk about location? All of which was in that chat. And then it was this is brilliant. I love this part. So, they were basically daring the reporter to release the chat because they were saying there's nothing classified. There's no classified information. So what'd he do? He released the chat. You can't exactly prosecute him now because they themselves said there was nothing classified in it. So if there's nothing classified in it, why would you prosecute him? And what are you going to prosecute him over? Classified information, which you said was not classified? So he released the information, which was obviously very clearly going to be classified information. And the MAGA mob on the right wing is trying to spin it and say, there's nothing classified. The morons in this chat are trying to do the same things. They're trying to say, there's nothing classified. There's nothing classified. Yes, there was. If the enemy had gotten a hold of that information, that would have put American lives in jeopardy. That would have compromised the entire operation. They could have moved the enemy could have moved their resources around. I say enemy when this is like the Yemenis and the Houthis, so it's like, what danger do they really pose here? All we're doing is just causing more problems. America has been bombing Yemen for decades under multiple administrations, and what has it gotten us? It's gotten us bupkis. So when I say the enemy, let's say our adversary, whatever, they could have moved their resources around to avoid the attacks. They could have counterattacked. So yeah, it was obviously classified information. Anyone with any military background that is not an absolute bootlicking sycophant would have said exactly that. But the MAGA mob lies. That's their trait. That's their go-to. That is how they get out of any and all BS. And of course, the corporate media, being the enemy that they are, let them off lightly and easily without really any follow-up questions, without any really real pushing on the issues of trying to get to the truth. I mean, it's amazing. Even Jeffrey Goldberg, right? The editor of The Atlantic that had those texts, he was asked, like, aren't you guys burying the lead? Because the real problem is that they conducted an illegal war bombing these targets without approval from Congress. That's illegal. And Jeffrey Goldberg, who really is kind of just a Trump sycophant light, like he's like, oh, well, we can do this, we can do that, and they should have done this, and yeah, sure, but it's not a big deal. We bomb countries all the time. So it's like the Trump regime could have converted this guy to his side because he's clearly there. Like his mindset is in the same he's in the same fascist pitfalls, but that's how bad they are at what they do. Is that they couldn't even go that route. They tried to burn this guy, and frankly, his evidence holds up and they don't. They look like clowns, which is what they've been from the get-go. So that's what I gotta say about the leaked classified information, the Signalgate, Whiskey Leaks as they're calling it. Now I want to talk about this whole toxic masculinity thing that's going on. There was a shift from the younger, especially men, younger men, I think it was 18 to 34, I think a little bit older than that actually, voted for Trump. Now, had Kamala not completely botched the campaign and actually, campaigned on things that mattered, like pointing out who the bad guys are, which are the billionaires and the fascists, and who the heroes are the people trying to stand up for free speech and a liberal democracy. But, she wanted to capitulate and bow down to her brother-in-law tech CEO who was funding her campaign. So, lovely. So we don't really know what the electorate would have looked like if Kamala's voters had participated rather than stayed home, because millions of them stayed home at the end of the day. But there was a noticeable swing for young men. And there is this whole manosphere with the Joe Rogan, vibe, podcaster influence thing, whatever in the hell they want to call themselves. And it's amazing how, like Joe Rogan, a legit martial artist, some of these guys, again, what's his name? Jake Shields. These are terrible, awful, evil people that are betraying this country. but they are legit martial artists. They're legit tough dudes. And they are the absolute most fragile little gonad anytime you step on their toes. Like, seriously. You look at the stuff, like with Rachel Ziegler or with Blake Lively right now, the lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. They are clutching their pearls. Oh. I mean, Joe Rogan came out with his handbag and his little bonnet. Like, he was just little Bo Peep talking about how sad. Okay, well, I'm making this up. It wasn't actually Joe Rogan, but there were a lot of people in the manosphere, specifically when it came to not Rachel Ziegler, Jasmine Crockett, talking about Governor Hot Wheels, and the right wing just clutched their pearls. And yeah, all these tough guys, all these, bros, all these strong men are suddenly little snowflakes. That's what they turned out to be. How could you pretend to be this big badass that wants to push over everyone, but then someone pushes back, you cry foul? Yeah, that makes you a bitch. And I don't like using the word bitch because I know that it is misogynistic in nature, but like, what other language do we have to describe that? I haven't found a word that fits the definition of that. But it's true. Like, there has to be a calling out of that behavior because it's weak. It's pathetic. And you see it all the time. I see it all the time in my comments, in my Instagram, my YouTube. Like, all these guys puffing their chest, pounding their chest, talking shit in my comments. And they're supposed to be these big tough guys. And then I look at, like, it's Friday at 8 p.m., or Saturday at 2 in the afternoon. And it's like, you're so obsessed with my comments, you respond within 30 seconds of my reply on a weekend. How are you this fragile? Is there no grass that you can touch outside your mother's basement? Like, what's going on here? So how can these people pretend to be these big, tough badasses, and then the moment they see something that contradicts or that pushes back on their BS, they get all triggered? And they get all frustrated and they get all upset. That's not tough guy shit. Anytime that I'm scrolling through, I see it all the time, especially on Facebook. My God, Facebook is just a cesspool. I see stuff from the right wing and it's stupid memes or stupid videos. And you know what I do? I scroll past it. Because I'm not a fucking little snowflake that gets butthurt over these things. I scroll past it and you know what? I do one better. I put that shit on block because I don't need to see that shit. I don't care. But you get so butthurt. All these right-wing, there's people in my comments right now. All these little snowflakes are so butthurt over what I'm saying. They're supposed to be for free speech, right? But now that I'm giving my free speech, now they're out here trying to report my TikTok, which they've done in the past, trying to get me banned, trying to get me suspended from live. That's not free speech. You're just a weak little gonad. Gonads, that's the words. That's what we're going to call them. I'm not going to call them bitches anymore. I'm going to call them gonads. They're just weak, tiny, shriveled up little gonads that just immediately double over in pain at the slightest little poke of pain. And that's what we keep seeing. So there is this very, very toxic influence. And I think I was talking about this on a different live stream. But it's really easy to be mean. It is really easy to just give in to that basic animal instinct of mammals to just lash out, right? Someone's mean to you, you're going to be mean back. Really easy to do that. You know what's hard? Showing empathy. Showing care. That's why all these people, these big tough guys that are against trans people, what are you accomplishing? You're just showing how fragile you are. You are so weak, pathetic, and small, you can't even tolerate the existence of someone else in your presence. You can take a literal punch to the noggin, but someone existing in the same Starbucks as you gets you triggered? You can take a full-on shin to the face, but someone with pink hair just sets you off. What kind of a little gonad is that? I don't think that's manliness. Manliness really, like, if these, which you see, like with the Tate family, right? He was just arrested, been in this country, what, 30 days? Not even? And he's committed more felonies than most of the people, 90% of the people being deported to the gulags in El Salvador committed more felonies just in 30 days than those people have in decades of living in this country. And that's who you're telling me is a real man? A dude who beats up? What? Pizza Hut? What the fuck was I trying to say there? A grown man, a trained fighter, beats up on a woman, probably half his weight, probably does not have the same training that he does, and you're telling me that that's a man? That's a tough guy? I don't think so. I don't see that. So, with this whole, like, brouhaha over who the tough guys are, they're not. They're snowflakes, they're gonads, they're pissants. And there does have to be a counterculture to that. We shouldn't be allowing that kind of behavior to go on. It is so much harder for someone to be mean to you, and rather than reflect that, to say, dude, you seem to be going through something. What is happening in your life right now? Like, I'm not trying to target you. I just want to know what's up. You seem to be hurting. Like, is there something going on? Did you lose someone close to you? Did you, are you having financial trouble? You know, like, that's hard. It is so easy. Someone says, you know, fuck you on the street. It is so much easier to say, oh yeah, well, fuck you. So easy. But it is so much harder to pause and say, why are you saying that? What did I do? And granted, you know, when I'm doing shows and stuff, if I get heckled, that's not the stuff that kind of gets laughs. So I need to practice more of what I preach, which I definitely don't. But I need, on this specific issue, I need to. But it's way harder. And it is way harder to have sympathy for, again, trans folks, for immigrants, for people of color. It's way harder to have sympathy for that rather than to lash out at them and blame them because you can't get a job because you're a toxic little gonad and no one wants to work with you or be around you. That's my spiel. I'm going to end it here because I can feel the TikTok ban hammer just winding up. Let's see. There's a couple people in chat. Ask me any question. G-Dog, good suggestion. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did I miss any comments in the back? Nothing will happen. I don't know what that's in regards to. Are we talking about MGT? Again, I don't know what that means. Some MAGA gonad in my thing is saying, you are behind the news and you get paid to lie. You think I'm getting paid for this? Oh, dear. Please, if you have George Soros' contact information, give it to me, because I will gladly accept a check. I do this because I care, because I have values. You guys are the ones taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from Russian money because you can't make a living because you have no talent. So you have to lie for a living. She talked about Biden as well. I think that might be in reference to Jasmine Crockett. And good, Biden deserves a lot of scorn. He screwed up a lot of things. He was weak on too many things. He capitulated, and he should have left office. He should have not run for re-election. A lot of idiots are saying the sheep are just bowing right now, saying not classified. It was classified. It was classified information. That's very clear. It's weird to say trans women in sports is an issue, but they can only name trans person. Trans women in sports is not an issue. It is an issue that they have created and that corporate media has laundered to pretend that it's an issue. The number, there's what, like, I think barely 1% of trans athletes in all of the NCAA, I think it is. Or a college league of some kind. I have to check my facts on that. So how can you say that that is a problem? 1% of the people are a problem for the other 99% when you have Republican men like Jason Eichhorn, who was just arrested last week after introducing a bill to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental illness, and he was arrested for soliciting a minor. The biggest threat to children in America are white, straight, Republican men. That's the biggest threat to children in this country. Okay, looks like the TikTok fascists are coming in here to give me shit. So, Again, thank you so much for watching this live stream. My biggest goal right now is growing my YouTube channel because I would like to monetize, as much as that moron was saying that I'm already monetized. I am not. I would like to monetize. The easiest way is to go through my YouTube channel. I'm going to put it in the chat here. I do this every time. How do I chat? That's not how I chat. What do I do? How do I interact? Comment. .com/directorejjr. There we go. So you can go there if you subscribe. If I'm at 514 subscribers right now. If I get to 1,000, then I can monetize the channel. So I'm like halfway there. So please go to that link, click on the channel, make sure to subscribe, and please keep following the community. Why did I say the community? I am not the community. I am a part of the community. I am a part of the community. You may not have heard of it, but the community is like where we go for mutual aid and like self-defense, because see, the thing is, we keep us safe. You know, like not the police, we keep us safe. Anyway, fuck TikTok, free Mahmoud Khalil.